What I could make sense of was that you've talked about cost escalation through the India specific enhancements, which you said, they were meant to cover 126 aircraft, and now just for 36 it's almost the same cost. So that is where the escalation is coming from. So sir, tell me. Yeah.
Yes, it is the same.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But one thing, for the design and development.
Yes, sir.
Of India-specific enhancements. It's not all the hardware.
Okay.
It's the design and development.
Okay, sir. Yeah. So, sir, when the government said in Parliament that they had negotiated a better deal, do you think they were being economical with the truth because they concealed this fine aspect?
Absolutely. They did a cover-up because now look at this. They were negotiating a deal for 126, 18 flyaway aircraft. Straight away for India, and then the 108 to be manufactured under a license at HAL in Bengaluru. Now suddenly a new deal comes in April of 2015. Prime Minister Modi visits France, and out of the blue, there is an announcement through a joint Indo-US, Indo-French joint statement. There's a sudden announcement, we are going to buy 36, India is going to buy 36 flyaway aircraft, and this was going to be through an intergovernmental deal, not through a commercial contract with Dassault. In other words, you're buying from the French government, although the manufacturer will be Dassault, and you have that fixed cost, or what they call non-recurring cost of 1.4 billion originally, euros, brought down to 1.3 billion.
Yes, sir.
So if you do a simple arithmetic, the price per aircraft, multiplies 3 times.
Yes, sir.
And the Air Force doesn't get the number of aircrafts they wanted, 7 squadrons, amounting to 126 Rafale fighter jets. So this huge cost of 1.3 billion euros was imposed on 36 aircraft rather than 126. And as Mr. Chidambaram, former finance minister, has commented in a statement, he said now this is a huge gift to Dassault by the government of India, and they'll be walking all the way to the bank, because if you look at the amortization, the cost which was going to be realized over many years is now being realized over some months. It's a huge thing in financial terms. So it's a massive gift from the government of India to the manufacturer of Rafale. Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more thing, how would you compare this with Bofors? Towards the end of your article, you say that there's a difference of the money trail not being found. So, would you say that, we need an investigation to now find out what exactly happened, why this sudden change came?
Yeah, you're right. But what I meant to say was that the decision making in both cases was arbitrary. In other words, the professionals were ignored or overruled. In this case, there's all this 4-3 in the Indian negotiating team.
Yes.
Similarly, in Bofors, the army wanted the French gun SOFMA through many trials, yes. And finally, the political level from the top, Bofors was chosen. But the difference is that very quickly the journalistic investigation, and in this particular case, the Hindu, was able to lay its hands on the bank documents. The money paid into secret Swiss bank accounts, disguised as commissions. The trail has not been discovered in this case yet, although corruption has been alleged by the Congress party, and also in the petition that was sent to the Supreme Court, petition by Yashwant Sinha, Arun Shauri, and Prashant Bhushan. So this investigation will continue. There are strange things. They've alleged crony capitalism in the choice of offset partners.
Yes,
they have shown that the benchmark price, that is the overall ceiling for the deal, was suddenly raised, arbitrarily raised without any explanation.
Yes, sir.
And so on. And finally, there was a real opportunity to get strong leverage, because the Eurofighter Typhoon Consortium, which comprises leading aeronautical and defense companies from 4 countries, Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, and Spain. They were represented by Airbus. And in July of 2014, the person representing the consortium, that is from Airbus, wrote a letter to then Defense Minister Arun Jaitley with a very attractive offer, what I call a mouth-watering offer, that a 20% discount on what they had bid for earlier, previous number, accelerated delivery by diverting deliverables that were supposed to go to Germany, UK, Italy and Spain, the countries comprising part of the consortium. Then they said we'll set up a production line quickly in India, an Eurofighter Typhoon industrial park, provide support and training, and that was a very good overture or outline of an offer. Why was it not made use of, at least to strengthen your leverage? They took 3 members of the Indian negotiating team, the INT, strongly advocated bringing that bid in, and let's compare the prices between the Eurofighter offer and the Rafale offer. But this was shot down by the majority, obviously responding to political compulsions. They said that, we can't do it because the defense procurement procedure prohibits it and the CVC guidelines will be violated. Whereas the truth is, it was in effect a new deal that Prime Minister Modi announced in Paris, and that was followed up from 2015 to 2016, right through. So they hid behind this contention that we are unable to do it. We could have easily taken a stand, or at least that is debatable, that the offer has changed. If the price is not right, I can walk away from the whole deal and go back to the drawing board. And I already have. I can consider both. So this was overruled by a vote 4-3 in the the Indian negotiating team, and instead of it being considered by the Defence Acquisitions Council, which is empowered by the procedure to take a decision on it, that is headed by the Defence Minister, then Manohar Parrikar, but he shied away from that responsibility, as the story says, and in fact the chairman of the Indian negotiating team had suggested take it to the Cabinet Committee on Security. These are politicians, not military or technical experts. So the whole thing was short-circuited, if you could say, and taken on. And that's why India got a very bad deal in this. And I think this is going to be further analyzed. We give the numbers. Our focus has been in this particular investigation on pricing, which the government has refused to, has repeatedly declined or refused to disclose, not just to the public, not just to Parliament, but even to a privileged committee of Parliament, saying that secrecy agreement with France prohibits it. The French government has made it clear that it's up to the Indian government, and certainly it doesn't cover pricing details. It covers sensitive technical details relating to combat capability and so on. But they hid behind all this to simply rush through this deal, which turned out to be a very costly deal for India. And the Indian Air Force has been shortchanged because they're only getting 36. And HAL has been thrown out of the window. Along with it, plans for building self-reliance in the defense sector, plans for indigenization of even deals involving foreign vendors, and the whole Make in India program has been thrown out of the window in this particular deal. That's what our story was all about. So there are questions to answer. The Ministry of Defense has issued a so-called rebuttal, which doesn't rebut any fact. It only quarrels or questions or conclusions or analysis. Not a single fact has been refuted in that, or even an attempt to refute was not there. Although they have called it is inaccurate and it's nothing new. If there's nothing new, that means they are accepting the truth, the reality of it. But I think people can make up their own mind. The story is there. It can be read. But our focus is, we're not gone all over the place. looking at the benchmark price, looking at the allegation that there was crony capitalism, and the government imposed certain offset partners on the French manufacturer of Rafale Dassault, that there was criminal misconduct, as Yashwant Sinha, Arun Shourie, and Prashant Bhushan alleged in their petition. They were joined by two others in the Supreme Court. They could not succeed, but the Supreme Court has now recognized or acknowledged that there are many factual errors in what the Supreme Court came up with. What was provided to the Supreme Court, of course, they took the stand. We can't go into details of pricing and all that. They are looking at it in a very limited way. But even the order contains a number of factual errors, which, among others, Kapil Sibal, senior counsel, has pointed out in an article published in the Indian Express. And so we can say from this, the Supreme Court of India is supreme, but it is not infallible, as was said earlier by a famous judge.
Thanks a lot, sir. So you have focused on the pricing specifically this time, and you seem to have access to the documents. So are we expecting some more series focusing on the other parts?
Yeah, I think we'll see what we'll get. We certainly have the documents.
Yeah.
And as the story says, we have the list of India-specific
Yes,
announcements.
sir. Yes.
Which have some. Government has claimed that it involves national security and so on. Some of it or much of it is already in the public realm.
Yeah.
The defense specialists, military specialists will definitely get their hands on what these India-specific enhancements were. But since it's not strictly relevant to our story on pricing, we have not presented the list, but we do have the list.
Yeah, and sir, these India-specific enhancements have been the same since 2007. I mean, those 13 is exactly the same. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. That's been acknowledged also.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Yeah.